California is supposed to be one of the most expensive places in the world to live. So how are there still towns where you can buy a home for less than a used car in some states? It sounds fake. It sounds like one of those internet myths. But it's not. There are places across California right now where prices are so low, people literally don't believe it until they see it themselves. And once you understand why they're so cheap, the story gets even more interesting. Before we go deeper, quick disclaimer. This is not financial advice. Prices change, markets move, and every town has its own reality depending on neighborhood, timing, and local conditions. But what you're about to see is based on real market data and real affordability trends in 2026. And by the end of this, you're going to look at California very differently. Because the state everyone thinks is unaffordable still has pockets that feel almost unbelievable. Let's start with a place that surprises almost everyone. Bakersfield. This is one of the cheapest large cities in California, and yet it's still growing. Homes here can cost a fraction of what you'd pay in Los Angeles or San Diego. On paper, it looks like an opportunity. More space, lower prices, and a cost of living that feels manageable. But here's the catch. Bakersfield's economy is heavily tied to oil, agriculture, and logistics. That means income growth doesn't always keep pace with other parts of the state. Summers are brutally hot, job opportunities are more limited, and long-term appreciation isn't always guaranteed. So while it's cheap, there's a reason it stays that way. Now shift to Fresno, another Central Valley city that keeps showing up on affordable lists. Fresno is bigger, more developed, and has a stronger infrastructure than many nearby towns. You've got universities, healthcare systems, and a growing population. But prices are still surprisingly low compared to coastal California. The reason? Wages haven't kept up with housing costs the same way they have in major metro areas. And while Fresno offers opportunity, it also comes with higher crime in certain areas, extreme summer heat, and economic gaps that can impact long-term growth. It's affordable, yes, but not without trade-offs. Now here's where things get interesting. Stockton. At one point, Stockton was one of the hardest-hit cities during the 2008 housing crash. Prices collapsed. Entire neighborhoods were affected. And even years later, the city still carries that history. Today, it's one of the cheapest places in Northern California, especially considering its location. It's within reach of the Bay Area, which makes it attractive for commuters. But here's the pattern. Rapid growth followed by instability has made buyers cautious. Crime rates, economic recovery, and past volatility all play into why prices remain lower than expected. Now let's go smaller, and a little more surprising. Barstow. This town sits along major highway routes between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. It's known more as a stop than a destination. And that's exactly why prices stay low. There's limited local economy beyond logistics, travel services, and some military presence nearby. The desert environment is harsh, opportunities are limited, and long-term growth is uncertain. But if you're looking purely at price, Barstow feels almost unreal compared to the rest of California. Now here's one people don't expect. Clear Lake. This town is built around one of the largest freshwater lakes in California, which sounds like it should be expensive. Waterfront living, scenic views, outdoor lifestyle. It checks all the boxes. But prices here are shockingly low. Why? Because the local economy is small, job opportunities are limited, and the area has struggled with crime and infrastructure issues. It's one of those places where the setting looks incredible, but the reality is more complicated. Now let's head further north to Eureka. This coastal town looks like something out of a movie. Redwoods, ocean views, historic buildings. It feels completely different from Southern California. And yet, prices here are still relatively low compared to the rest of the state. The reason comes down to isolation. Eureka is far from major job centers. The economy is smaller, and growth is slower. It's beautiful, yes, but also remote. And that distance keeps prices down. Now here's a place that feels almost forgotten. Needles. Sitting near the Arizona border, this is one of the cheapest places in the entire state. You can find homes here at prices that feel impossible for California. But once you look closer, it starts to make sense. Extreme heat, limited job market, and distance from major cities all play a role. It's not a place people move to for opportunity. It's a place people choose for affordability alone. Now let's shift back towards something more balanced. Chico. Chico is different. It's a college town with a stronger local economy and a more livable feel than many others on this list. Prices are still relatively affordable compared to major cities, but higher than places like Needles or Barstow. Why? Because demand is stronger. People actually want to live here. And that changes everything. It shows you something important. Cheap doesn't always mean undesirable. Sometimes it just means overlooked. Now here's another one that flies under the radar. Redding. Located in Northern California, Redding offers nature, space, and lower housing costs. But it also comes with challenges. Wildfire risk, economic limitations, and slower growth all impact pricing. It's affordable, but stability can vary depending on external factors. And that uncertainty plays directly into why prices stay low. And finally, El Centro. This might be one of the most overlooked affordable areas in California. Located in the Imperial Valley, it offers extremely low housing prices compared to the rest of the state. But again, there's a reason. The climate is extreme, job opportunities are limited, and the economy is heavily dependent on agriculture. It's affordable, yes, but it's also one of the most isolated economic regions in California. Now step back for a second, because this is where everything connects. All of these towns have one thing in common. They're cheap, but not by accident. There's always a reason. Sometimes it's location. Sometimes it's economy. Sometimes it's crime. Sometimes it's climate. And sometimes it's all of them combined. That doesn't mean these places are bad. In fact, for the right person, some of these towns can be incredible opportunities. Lower cost of living, less competition, more space. But affordability always comes with context. And the biggest mistake people make is looking at price without understanding the reason behind it. Because in California, cheap is never random. It's always explained. And once you understand that, you stop asking, why is this so cheap? And start asking the better question. What am I trading for that price? And that's where smart decisions begin.